This is a game in the T110E5, the Tier 10 US heavy tank on Halluf. A lot of people ask me why I like playing the E5 in pubs, and it's for a number of reasons. It's a really good all-around tank, and it has just enough armor to be relevant, and it has a good gun, decent mobility. The weaknesses are that the side armor are kind of weak, and it has this commander's hatch up top, which is relatively weak and can be shot, as well as the lower glacius. But those sorts of things can be, those liabilities can be minimized depending on how you play defensively, particularly at shorter to mid ranges, and that's mostly what we're going to talk about. So on El Halluf, we're going to go first over to this A2 area to anchor this corner. You always want to look and see how fast their team is. Their team is a little bit faster than ours, so you can argue that ours is a little bit heavier. We have barks and an artillery, which is good because it makes it much easier to call for things to die. So what we want to do is we want to see what Jackie sees up here, and how far forward we move depends on what we send, what they send, and what we're able to actually detect here. And so in the meantime, we're sending a good portion of our forces here. We sent a couple of medium tanks down there. We have a couple guys in the base, which is fine. Our T-62A is on this sort of B2 line, which is a good area to be in. And so what we'll do is we'll just slide in here first, and before we cross necessarily, it actually looks like I'm just going to cross. I saw this 50-120 cross, and so I decided to just cross after him. And then since we're already over here, the 54 wasted his shot on the 5100. I want to see if I can catch this 215B out here. We don't really know what else is behind him quite yet. And then I drive into the rock because apparently I'm a poor driver. And there are slightly more tanks over here than I anticipated, but I think Jackie tracked the 215B out there, then Barks just hit the 215B with artillery. And I want to be able to back up enough to shoot the 215B, but in doing so, I'm going to open myself up to getting shot by a lot of these guys on the one line, so I want to try to avoid that if I can. I already took a shot from, I think it was the E75. And so we've got a bunch of our guys back here. The 5120 is up with me. They're pushing over here with some of their guys, and I shoot the rock because not only am I bad at driving, apparently I'm also bad at shooting. And then so we're going to play this corner relatively conservatively, and the reason why I backed off here is because Bark said that he's going to drop a bomb on these guys, and you don't want to be too close because the CGC is not that accurate, and if he hits this rock right here while I'm next to it, then it's going to hurt me a lot more than it's going to hurt anybody else. So he gets his shot off, and that allows me to then go in and take a bad shot. And so what you'll notice is that when I'm up here, what I'll do is I'll try to minimize my shootable profile, in particular the cupola on the commander's hatch. It is on the left side, which is good because we're poking around the left here. This 5120 should not be trying to poke into all these heavy tanks, because he's not going to bounce anything. And see, we can see that they have the majority of their tanks here, so if I can, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to trade here as efficiently as I can to try to get easy shots and try to get some tanks down. And again, I'm punishing this rock because it, you know, did bad things in a former life. And you know, if you're that E75, you never want to roll out here on a completely prone sideways like that. The T-54 has pushed in behind us, so that's something that we're going to keep an eye on as well. That guy over there who just died, unfortunately, Jackie's dead. He said it was because Barks didn't kill the 704. I didn't see the 215B until too late, but at least we got the 69 down. And this 5120 is really making my life difficult. Unfortunately, I bounced that one on the side turret. And so they still got a good number of tanks here, right? They've got 4 in front of me, and they've got another 2 behind. We've sort of won this other side, so really it's just a matter of being smart here, taking good shots, not receiving too much damage at this point. And I'm trying to get away from this 5120 because I want to be able to turn my tracks left. And I don't really see a good shot on this guy right now. Essentially what I'm looking for here is either turret cheek if he backs up too far. And so this 5120 is backed up off of me a little bit, which is going to allow me a little bit more room to back up here. And then right now I can shoot either of these guys. The STI is one shot and the 215B is one shot. Neither of these guys are really going to get that good of shots on me, but the E3 behind there is potentially will. But they're not really giving me a whole lot until right there. And then now they're sort of moving in behind us. E75 is pushing this low. This 5120 is not really paying attention. I don't know what he's looking at. Like his gun was faced off in that direction for some reason. And that was me tunneling a little bit on the E75 instead of the Patton. So we still have this flank over here behind us, which is vulnerable. This low isn't probably enough to scare off this E75. But I need to kill this guy before they come around the other side, ideally. And so we are able to get him down to one shot, which is good because that will make him a little scared. This low is doing his best. And I shoot that one off the side turret, unfortunately. And then now I'm just scrambling to get my armor facing these guys. The Conqueror was able to take out the E75, so I don't need to worry about that guy anymore. And then now there's a sort of whole set of wrecks over here. We can both hold down, but the difference is that I can hold down better. And all I have to do is pretty much shoot him anywhere under the turret ring, and I'll be able to damage him. And then there's just the E3 left. These guys over here finally push in. And then it's just a matter of cleaning up. I can't necessarily take a hit from the E3, but I do know that he's backing up, so that is to my advantage. This Conqueror is coming around the back, so I might as well spot him, see if he's there. And I think Barks hit him with a direct shot as he was backing up, so he's going to be pretty low health.
It's a trap!
And that's that. And so, again, the armor of the tank is actually somewhat decent. Even at those short ranges where they're trying to shoot your cupola, just be sure to try to shift back and forth and not make an easy shot. But you don't want to give up too much side armor and too much wheel well, because otherwise they'll just shoot you through the drive wheel. So you kind of have to be careful with how you're facing up people. But if you move reasonably well, the armor actually is pretty decent in pubs, and certainly worthwhile and makes the tank pretty fun to play, in my opinion. And so if we look at the stats, it wasn't like some super damage game. We did 5.5k damage, which is pretty decent. But the fact is that we held that corner on that one line against, I don't know, it was a lot of tanks. It was like 6 or 7 tanks. They did not all push around at the same time. They didn't all try to coordinate shots at the same time. And that sort of led to their downfall, of mostly them coming around piecemeal and not moving around to that back flank on the 2 line is really what hurt them, because they could have taken out the rear of our support, you know, the low, the 5120, and there was one other tank there that I'm not recalling offhand. And that would have made it really difficult for me to guard the one line if we're also being attacked from that two line as well. But they didn't actually enact that flank, so it's kind of a moot point. And so we did take 15 hits only. A lot of shots missed us as well, but we did block 4K damage by armor. So the armor itself is actually somewhat useful, and it makes the tank rather fun to play, in my opinion anyways. So that is why I enjoy playing the T110E5, and I hope that was helpful for something.